Welcome to Life Stories, where we share tales of courage, love, and self-discovery that inspire us all. Today's story takes us into the life of Emily, a young woman who faced judgment and rejection but found her strength in embracing her true self. Through acts of kindness and unwavering determination, Emily's journey will remind us of the power of authenticity and the beauty of seeing beyond appearances. Don't miss this heartfelt tale. Subscribe to Life Stories and join us as we begin today's story of resilience and love. Let's dive in. Emily sat in the front row of the lecture hall, her head lowered and her hands clutching her notebook tightly. She could feel the empty seats around her, a glaring reminder of her social exile. Whispers filled the room like faint echoes, their cutting words sharper than she cared to admit. "She's so ugly," someone muttered. "I can't believe someone can look like that." She had grown used to this. The stares, the comments, and the cruel laughter were part of her daily routine now. It had all started when she decided to wear the mask. A plain, oversized mask designed to conceal her face, a shield against the superficiality she despised. Emily had her reasons for hiding, though she told no one. To the world, she was that weird, ugly girl. But inside, she was someone searching for authenticity, for a connection that wasn't based on appearances. When the professor announced a new group project, the room buzzed with murmurs. "This assignment will count for 50% of your final grade," he said. "I will be assigning groups. No switching. No exceptions." Emily stiffened. She already knew what was coming. When her name was called, the professor mistakenly addressed her as Eleanor. Correcting himself, he gestured toward Group C, where several of her classmates from the first week Saturday. As she stood to join them, she caught their smirks and heard their hushed laughter. "We don't want her in our group," one of the girls said loudly enough for everyone to hear. The professor frowned but didn't react, trying to keep control of the class. Another group chimed in. "We don't want the girl with the pimples either." Their laughter filled the room, and Emily's heart ached for the other target of their cruelty, Rachel, a quiet girl with acne who always kept her head down. Before the professor could intervene, Emily stood and said, "Don't worry about me, sir. I'll do the project with Rachel." Her voice was calm, her confidence unshaken. The class fell silent, surprised by her defiance. A few students muttered sarcastic comments, but Emily ignored them. She walked toward Rachel, who was already leaving the room. Her shoulders slumped in shame. "Rachel," Emily called after her. "Wait. You don't have to run. Please. Don't be ashamed." But Rachel didn't stop. Emily followed her out of the lecture hall and down the corridor, weaving through students. Just as she reached the door to the bathrooms, she bumped into someone, sending his books tumbling to the floor. "I'm so sorry," Emily stammered, crouching to pick up the scattered papers. When she looked up, she was met with a warm smile from a tall, handsome guy. His eyes were kind, his demeanor gentle. "It's okay," he said, his voice reassuring. "No harm done." As Emily handed him his books, he asked, "What's your name?" "Emily," she said quickly before hurrying after Rachel. When she found Rachel crying by the sinks, Emily approached cautiously. "Rachel," she said softly, "please don't let them get to you. They don't see what I see. You are beautifully made, just as you are." Rachel wiped her tears and looked at Emily with a hesitant smile. "You're the only one who's been kind to me here," she said. "I've tried everything to get rid of these pimples, but nothing works." "Forget them," Emily replied. "We'll work together on this project and show them what we can do." From that day forward, Emily and Rachel became inseparable. They worked tirelessly on their assignment, pouring every ounce of creativity and determination into designing the most stunning ball gowns. They spent late nights stitching, sketching, and laughing, their friendship growing stronger with each passing day. At lunch one afternoon, Rachel surprised Emily by introducing someone, her brother. Emily froze as she recognized him, the handsome guy she had bumped into in the hallway. "Emily, this is Luke." Rachel said, beaming. He's in his final year of medical school. Luke smiled warmly. Thank you for standing up for my sister. She told me everything. Emily felt a blush creep up her cheeks. It was nothing, she murmured, trying to hide her nervousness. But as they talked, she couldn't help but admire Luke's easy confidence and genuine kindness. That night, back in her dorm room, Emily removed her mask and stared at her reflection. What if he doesn't like the real me, she whispered to herself. The thought of revealing her true face both thrilled and terrified her. She decided it was better to wait. For now. This is enough, she said, allowing herself a small, hopeful smile. The next morning, Emily dressed in a gown she had sewn herself, a vibrant, elegant piece that reflected her quiet strength. When she entered the lecture hall, heads turned. Though the whispers continued, Emily didn't care. She felt confident for the first time in years. Rachel noticed and grinned. What's the occasion? She teased. Nothing. Emily replied, her smile unwavering. I just feel good today. As the semester progressed, Emily found herself torn between the joy of her newfound friendship with Rachel and the uncertainty of her feelings for Luke. But through it all, one thing remained clear. Emily's courage and kindness were starting to change the narrative, both in her life and in the lives of those around her. The story of transformation was only beginning. The weeks passed quickly as Emily and Rachel poured their energy into their project. Every spare moment was spent in the design studio, surrounded by fabric swatches, needles, and thread. The assignment wasn't just about creating ball gowns. It was about proving themselves not only to their classmates but also to themselves. Rachel had a natural flair for color combinations, while Emily excelled in intricate designs. Together, they became a seamless team. Rachel often marveled at Emily's quiet determination. You're amazing, she said one night, watching Emily sew delicate beadwork onto a shimmering fabric. You make it look so easy. Emily smiled, her hands never stopping. It's not easy, she said. It just takes patience. And maybe a little bit of stubbornness. Their collaboration turned into a bond of mutual respect and support. While other students were busy gossiping or trying to impress the lecturer, Emily and Rachel focused on their work. They weren't just creating gowns, they were creating a statement. One that would silence their detractors. At lunch, Emily found herself looking forward to seeing Luke. He often joined them, bringing an air of light-heartedness to their table. His jokes made Rachel laugh, and his genuine interest in their project made Emily's heart flutter. He asked thoughtful questions about their designs and even offered suggestions, which Emily secretly incorporated into their work. One day, as Luke sat across from her, he leaned in slightly and said, "You know, Emily, I've never met anyone quite like you." Emily froze, her fork hovering in mid-air. What do you mean? She asked cautiously. Luke shrugged, his expression sincere. You're kind, confident, and mysterious. I mean, no one knows why you wear that mask, but you don't let it stop you. I admire that. Emily felt a lump rise in her throat. She wanted to tell him everything about her reasons for hiding, about her fear of being judged, about her longing to be seen for who she truly was. But instead, she smiled and said, "Thank you." The day of the presentation arrived, bringing a mix of excitement and nerves. The lecture hall had been transformed into a makeshift runway, and groups took turns showcasing their creations. Each group had its moment, and the room buzzed with anticipation as the audience whispered and speculated about who would win. When it was Emily and Rachel's turn, the room fell silent. The two of them walked in together, wearing the gowns they had painstakingly crafted. Emily's dress was a masterpiece of intricate embroidery and flowing layers, while Rachel's gown sparkled with a cascade of sequins that caught the light perfectly. The audience gasped. Even their harshest critics couldn't deny the beauty of their work. Whispers turned into cheers, and the lecturer, who had been skeptical at first, applauded enthusiastically. When the results were announced, Emily and Rachel's group was declared the winner. The lecturer praised their creativity, teamwork, and attention to detail. As they accepted their awards, Rachel whispered, "We did it." Emily, "We showed them." Emily nodded, a smile spreading across her face. For the first time, she felt a sense of belonging. The judgmental stares and cruel whispers no longer mattered. She had proven that she was more than the mask she wore. After the presentation, Luke approached her, his eyes shining with pride. "You were incredible up there," he said. "I knew you'd win." Emily felt her cheeks warm. "Thank you," she said softly. "It means a lot." Luke hesitated, then added, "There's something I've been wanting to ask you. Would you like to grab coffee with me sometime?" Emily's heart raced. She wanted to say yes, but the mask weighed heavily on her mind. What if he found out the truth and changed his opinion of her? Taking a deep breath, she replied, "I'd like that." As Luke walked away, Rachel nudged her playfully. "Someone's got a crush," she teased. Emily laughed, her nervousness fading. Maybe, she admitted. But deep down, she knew she had a long way to go before she could fully let someone into her life. That night, as she lay in bed, Emily stared at the mask on her bedside table. It had been her shield, her armor, for so long. But now, she wondered if it was time to take a chance to let someone see the real her. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to hope. The following week was a whirlwind of emotions for Emily. Winning the competition had boosted her confidence. But her thoughts were consumed by the idea of her upcoming coffee date with Luke. She found herself questioning every detail: what to wear, what to say, and most of all, whether she should keep the mask on. Rachel noticed Emily's restless energy and couldn't resist teasing her. "You've been fidgeting all day," she said with a grin. "Nervous about coffee with Luke?" Emily rolled her eyes but couldn't suppress a small smile. "A little," she admitted. I don't know how much to share. What if he doesn't understand why I wear this mask?" Rachel placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "If Luke's as kind as he seems, he'll understand. Just be yourself, Emily. That's what matters." Emily nodded. But the weight of the decision still lingered. As much as she wanted to believe Rachel's words, the fear of rejection loomed large. When the day of the coffee date arrived, Emily chose a simple yet elegant outfit, a soft blue dress she had sewn herself. She glanced at her reflection in the mirror, adjusting the mask one last time before heading out. "Just be yourself," she whispered, repeating Rachel's advice like a mantra. Luke was already waiting when she arrived, sitting at a small table near the window of a cozy cafe. He stood up when he saw her, a warm smile spreading across his face. "Emily, over here." She smiled back, her nerves momentarily easing as she joined him. The conversation flowed effortlessly. Luke asked about her interests, her dreams, and what had inspired her designs for the competition. Emily found herself opening up, sharing stories about her passion for fashion and how it connected her to her late grandmother, who had been a seamstress. "You're so talented," Luke said, his admiration evident. "I can't wait to see what you create next." As the afternoon wore on, Emily felt more at ease. But just as she was starting to relax, Luke leaned forward and asked the question she had been dreading. "Emily, can I ask you something personal? Why do you wear the mask?" Her heart skipped a beat. She looked down at her hands, fidgeting with the edge of the napkin. "It's complicated," she began. "It's not just about hiding. It's about feeling safe. People judge so quickly based on appearances. And I guess this is my way of avoiding that." Luke nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I can understand that. But you don't need to hide. Emily, you're amazing just as you are. Anyone who can't see that isn't worth your time." His words struck a chord, filling her with a mix of gratitude and fear. Could she trust him with the truth? Taking a deep breath, she decided to take a small step forward. "Maybe someday," she said softly, "I'll be ready to show more of myself." Luke smiled, his gaze steady. "Take your time. I'm not going anywhere." The date ended on a high note, leaving Emily both hopeful and conflicted. Back in her room, she replayed their conversation in her mind. Rachel was waiting for her, eager to hear every detail. "So?" Rachel asked, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "How did it go?" Emily smiled, her cheeks flushing. "It went well. He's incredible. Kind. Funny. And so easy to talk to." Rachel grinned. "I knew it. You two are perfect for each other." Emily laughed but quickly sobered. "But he asked about the mask. I didn't tell him everything. I'm just not ready." Rachel nodded in understanding. "That's okay. You don't have to rush. When the time is right, you'll know." Emily appreciated Rachel's support, but the encounter had left her with a lot to think about. Could she ever truly let someone see the real her? And if she did, would they still see her the same way? For now, she decided to take things one step at a time. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, it didn't feel so scary. In the end, Emily's journey was more than just about creating beautiful gowns or impressing others. It was a journey of self-discovery and embracing her true self. The moment she removed her mask in front of Luke and her peers, the world seemed to pause. Gasps turned to applause as everyone marveled not just at her beauty, but at her courage. Emily had learned that real strength comes from within, and that true acceptance starts with oneself. Her story inspired others to look beyond appearances and find the value in authenticity. Emily and Luke's love blossomed, built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. Together, they proved that kindness and courage could overcome any obstacle. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Life Stories. Stay tuned for more inspiring tales. And remember, your story matters too. See you in the next video.